Kayleigh Haywood began speaking to a man she had never met. She fell in love. He told her many things that a teenage girl would desperately want to hear. He told her she was beautiful, special, and unique. And more, he told her that he loves her and cares for her. What more does anybody want to hear? She really fell for him, for his words. She fell hard. But what was waiting for her was really unexpected, at least for her. She really wasn't prepared for that. She was innocent. And moreover, she trusted him. Here, in this true crime documentary, we are going to discuss about Kayleigh Haywood, a girl who was raped by a man who she thought was the love of her life. So before we uncover this case, hit subscribe for a front row so that you won't miss out on our crime documentaries and be a part of the adventures. And it all started with a friend request. On October 31st, 2015, Haywood accepted a friend request on Facebook from a man who she had never met. She then started to share text messages with him, and slowly they became friends. Both of them started to text almost every day and night. They even started late-night calls and messages. Most of the days, Haywood didn't even sleep. Over the course of 2 weeks, they exchanged 2,643 messages. 2 weeks following the first contact, Kayleigh agreed to meet him at his house in Ibstock, Leicestershire, on 13th of November 2015. She thought he was the one for her, the one who deserves her love and her body. She was blindly in love with him. His name was Luke Harlow. The day before her meetup with Luke, she told her mother that she was going for a sleepover at one of her friends' houses. Her mother trusted her and agreed for that. Later that morning, she was so excited to be with him and started to think about him. Luke came to pick her up from the school and brought her to his house. She was so excited. He supplied Kayleigh with large quantities of alcohol and touched her sexually. This made her feel wanted. She was ready to give him everything. But little did she know that he was a monster. She had sex with Luke Harlow. She was so happy that she gave him her love. She called her mom the next day and told her that she will be staying there for one more day. She said it was okay. Her mom didn't know that she was with a monster who is going to ruin her life forever. Luke then introduced her to his neighbor, Stephen Beedman, and then from here the real story started. Luke already informed the 29-year-old Stephen Beedman the previous day that he had a bird at his house. He did go there to see Haywood intentionally. After some time, Haywood started to feel that there was something fishy, so she decided to go home. But when she told them that, their intentions changed. She kept begging them to leave her alone. She also made an attempt to escape. She started running away from his house, but they caught her. Beedman then took Kayleigh a short distance away and raped her, before taking her deeper into the countryside and beating her to death. That's the story of Kayleigh Haywood. She was reported missing, and a search was conducted to find her. Her body was found 5 days later in lakeside undergrowth near Ibstock. On 24 November 2015, an inquest heard that Kayleigh Haywood had died as a result of head and facial injuries, and her body had to be identified by dental records. A post-mortem examination also confirmed that she had been raped. Kayleigh's parents made an emotional appeal to the public to come forward with information, saying that, "We just need to know what has happened to our baby girl," after finding her body. 2 men, aged 27 and 28, remain in police custody arrested on suspicion of murder. As the investigation turned into a murder probe, Kayleigh's Facebook account was being examined by officers investigating her disappearance, and police widened a large-scale search to an area of agricultural land in Belton, around 10 miles away from the teenager's home. A mobile phone belonging to Kayleigh was recovered in Ibstock, and undisclosed items of clothing thought to be linked to her were found in both Ibstock and Dissyworth. Later, it was found from one of her friends that she had arranged to meet a man who had been messaging her on Facebook. So the officers started a thorough investigation and found out the man behind the crime, Luke Harlow. On 20th of November 2015, shortly after being arrested in connection with the disappearance and ultimately the murder of Kayleigh Haywood, Luke Harlow had been charged with grooming and 2 counts of having sexual activity with a child. Luke, who was an unemployed former media studies student, said in his police interview on 17th November that he was unsure how they came to be in contact with each other. He claimed he had a habit of accepting anyone on Facebook and had about 2,000 friends. He also stated that basically as soon as we were friends, we just started talking. Later, it was found out that he was not alone. Leicestershire police then, after some investigation, announced that Stephen Beedman was the one who raped and murdered her. Both were remanded in custody later. A neighbor of theirs said that she was naked from the waist down and witnessed Beedman pinning her to the ground. But he thought that it was an officer. Beedman told detectives he could not remember what triggered the scene as they had all been drinking. But days later, after denying knowing what had happened to her, Beedman confessed to first raping the teenager and then killing her with a brick. During a police interview, he said that, "When I drink, I just switch. But when I switch, I get violent. I wasn't in full control because I had been drinking." The case has raised issues over internet safety, and it prompted Kayleigh's family to campaign for a new law to ban under-16s from opening social media accounts. Beedman admitted the murder of Kayleigh Haywood on 5th of April 2016, while Harlow admitted the grooming and sexual activity charges, but denied a charge of false imprisonment, meaning that he would face a Crown Court trial on that charge, while Beedman's sentencing would be delayed until afterwards. Harlow was found guilty of that charge on 28th of July 2016, with his sentencing and that of Beedman being heard 1st July 2016. Harlow was sentenced to 12 years in prison, while Beedman received a life sentence with a minimum term of 35 years, making him ineligible for parole until 2050. However, Beedman never saw out the entirety of the jail term, as he was just 5 years into his sentence when he died in hospital at the age of 34 last year. An inquest later determined that he had died from oxygen starvation to the brain, while a heart attack was also listed as a cause of death. His death was not treated as suspicious by prison authorities, while the news was widely welcomed by Kayleigh's family and friends. Her father, Martin Whitby, was among those celebrating it. At that time, he posted in Facebook, "Best news ever. That killed my daughter is dead, hope thee rots in hell." Kayleigh's story came to typify the darkest side of social media and the phenomenon of online grooming and the sexual exploitation of children and young people. The trial judge referred to this in her sentencing remarks, saying Kayleigh's parents should feel no guilt for failing to realize she had been groomed online. Later, and with the support of Kayleigh's family, Leicestershire police made a short film called Kayleigh's Love Story, which is about the final 2 weeks of her life. The film, which went on to win a series of awards, was designed to serve as a warning to young people, both girls and boys, about online grooming and the dangers of speaking to strangers or friends they meet online. A second documentary was screened on Channel 5 entitled Murder on the Internet. This is, of course, a lesson for teenage girls and boys to avoid traps from monsters. And that wraps up today's content. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and also make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so that you won't miss out on our future contents.